And all right, let me share the link. All right, guys, we're going to get started in the next couple of seconds here. There we are. All right, welcome, Greencifer. This is another Rovi call, number 16. And I'm sure some of you got to see what the good old Pope, the Pope Master has brought to you today. And let's see where it is. Here it is. Here's the Pope. We're going to be distributing that in the next few minutes. So for you lucky people, you're going to get this Pope. And I had asked last week if you guys have seen a better designed Pope. And I don't think many people have seen a better one. I do spend some time looking through all the different popes whenever you submit. Like you can kind of peruse the gallery of popes, and some people don't put that much effort as we do. So it's kind of interesting, especially with this like huge cartel like taking over the pope issuance. But yeah, this is the Pope for today, and we're going to distribute that. I'll tell you guys the password, same process as before. You'll be DMing the MetaZone bot and just the password, and then you have to go through the verification process and all that, just like before. So couple of topics today. We have some updates. So we've been working on the NFT deployments for Rovi's, and like we mentioned before, this is going to be kind of a big platform update for us, and we've got the transporter deployed. The only thing we don't have is the UI for the transporter deployment for you guys to kind of jump through and like start deploying. So we got to work on that UI, and that UI is going to transition to like the new website update. So we're just trying to rethink deployments just because it's not intuitive, I guess, for some people to purchase a meta or have a meta and then deploy it on their land. And so one of the things that we're thinking about is kind of rethinking the nomenclature for some of this stuff. And so whenever you have a meta, you want to have that meta deployed on somebody else's land. We call it contribution or contribute, but I think we're going to call it delegation. Like you're gonna be able to delegate that, and I think it's gonna be a little bit more clear for people whenever you want to have a meta deployed on somebody else's land. So that's just a small update, but the nomenclature I think will make it a little bit more clear for people exactly what they're doing. So other updates, remaining items for the transporter. So we need to hook it up to the remote so that everybody can move that stuff around. And so that's kind of like a normal process, but it has to be redone a little bit because of the platform update. So right now, the platform only recognizes metas as like database entries, and now it's going to recognize metas as NFTs. So whenever you deploy, it's going to check your wallet to make sure you own that meta, and if you do, then you can deploy. So the remote will need to be updated, and then creating a new UI for installing and uninstalling. So I already mentioned that before. And let's see. So yeah, once the UI is updated, you guys will be able to deploy it. So that process should happen like with the next couple of days to a week. And once that UI is updated, we'll let you guys know. We'll ping you guys in the Discord, and then you can go ahead and push that to your land and start positioning stuff. So yeah, so big things ahead. Let's see. Oh, big thing here. So we have the white paper in progress too. The white paper is going to be like a huge discussion point for all of us, and it's going to go through all the details of the tokenomics of the game. And one of the things I had a question for you, Greencifer, is we have several metas. I believe it's like 7 or 8 of them, and like 6 of them are extremely critical, right? Part of the like major gameplay. And so we were thinking about the tokenomics, and one of the questions that I have for you, and just to get your thoughts, is once these metas are deployed and like basically distributed to the community, I think the way that we designed it is that every interaction, so basically whenever you want to jump into the PvE or replicate or whatever it is, whatever action that is upgrade, every interaction will require the expenditure of a Rovi token. So Is that what isn't that sort of expected? Like, do you guys, is that what you're
Yeah, yeah,
expecting?
yeah, yeah. Obviously, it's
Okay.
like gas, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because ultimately, so it is that, but it is more about the compensation for the landowner and the meta owner to acquire these items and then deploy it.
It would. I sorry.
Yeah, go
It
ahead.
would. It would still kind of be the same thing as gas, right? Because essentially, these meta owners are the miners,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So they're just getting gas.
Yeah, that no, that's a good explanation. That's a good analogy too, because the meta owners that are deploying, the landowners that are deploying, they're like the miners, right? They're
Yeah.
hosting the network, right? They're hosting the game, and so they need to be compensated for hosting that game. So we talked about also, was it last week or a couple of weeks ago, about MetaZone and the white paper for the entire platform. So that should be coming out pretty soon. We got some legal feedback on it, and so we got to review those edits, and then once we review those edits, we can make it public so people can kind of read it, and then we can talk about that because so we're talking about two different white papers, but that white paper is about supporting the entire creator base, and then the Rovi white paper is about the incentive mechanisms for landowners and the meta owners to deploy and then the players to play the game. So once the MetaZone white paper is out, I think that's going to be another discussion point, just because there's going to be a huge component for like everyone to participate in this network, right? And so this will make a little bit more sense once you read it, but this will have a huge influence on creators like the Rovi project and Ethermon and all these different projects, because it's supposed to like help creators. So we'll talk about that hopefully maybe when that releases in the next couple of days. Um, so yeah, and ultimately, when the Rovi game is deployed, you're gonna spend Rovi tokens for basically every single interaction. And think of it this way: like when you jump into the PVE, as long as you're competent in the game, right? You are trading your tokens for 1155 assets to either sell on the open market because you have that kind of time, or just collect those assets to upgrade your Rovi, right? And so you're basically trading Rovi tokens for those assets. So it's like a, it's a fair trade in a sense.
And
And
essentially, you could just go on and farm that
mhm,
because the assets that you sold on the open market, you could just go ahead and buy another Rovi and just upgrade him.
yeah,
And when he's upgraded, you could just take the extra assets that are being earned and just like compound them.
100%. Yeah, and that's the idea. It's like let's say we collaborate with the community in like the scholarship program, and you have a bunch of like not great Rovies, and you have a single great one. Let's say one that's like at 55%. Then you can collect those assets to upgrade your best Rovi, right? As one form of playing, right? If you're a whale, so that's kind of one angle. But you're right. I think mining these assets to upgrade a particular Rovi, I think that's going to be like the dominant form of playing, at least early on, until we can start player versus player battling. So that's
No,
gonna,
I agree.
yeah.
That's sick.
So yeah, I mean it's one of those things where we need to release the game in like small chunks, and those small chunks have to be kind of like a closed ecosystem. But I think the only thing that most of this stuff we'll have to play the game with an off chain token, at least until we have all the assets deployed. Once we have all the assets deployed, then I want to show you guys this method of launching a token. So we, like I said last week, we do a ton of research, and one of the things that we found is this thing called it's a lock drop plus LBA, and this is developed by Delphi Digital. And so to make a long story short, the way that this smart contract works is typically crypto projects have to provide liquidity in like one of two ways. Either you incentivize the community to provide liquidity for your token so that it's tradable, or the project raises enough funds and uses their own funds to provide liquidity. So in each case, there is an implication of regulation. And so projects don't pay attention to that, so they just do it anyway. So, I mean, we could do that, but the way that Delphi Digital designed their token drop is interesting. So, what they have is this lock drop where you can lock a stable coin, let's say like $100 of USDT, and it shows the commitment. So, from the perspective of the smart contract, it shows your commitment of a given project. This case, Rovi, and you lock up 100 tokens, 100 stable coins, right? And once you lock that up, you're showing that commitment and you're issued Rovi tokens as a result. Okay. And so what happens is if you follow through this lock drop and LBA, what happens is the community ends up discovering the price of your token instead of setting the price, an arbitrary price, like 10 cents or a penny. Like instead of just deciding to set an arbitrary price, you let the community decide what the price is. So what's the effect of this? So there's two things that happen. First thing is that if you set an arbitrary price like 10 cents, it could just straight dump because the community thinks it's worth a lot less. And so all those tokens that get airdropped due to the Rovi holders, they just sell it all because it's the perception is it's not worth that much. So the problem with that is people who buy the Rovi token as it's dumping are holding the bag, and like you get sour taste in everybody's mouth, and like it causes a problem. So the way that they're proposing is that the community decides to add liquidity. They set the price, and even though that you're committing like $100, there's a 7-day period. If you read through this document, there's a 7-day period where you can unlock that $100 because maybe the price is too high from your own perspective, and then you just take it out, and then it rebalances the price. So after 7 days of like this oscillation of price, and it's finding it's like it's
discovery
the
price discovery.
Yeah, exactly. After 7 days, then whatever that you've committed to that lock drop, it's locked, and then you are providing liquidity, and then you're mining that LP tokens and the fees associated to trading. So it's now what they're trying to do here is minimize regulatory implications by having the community decide what the price is, and so that's the major deal here. So I think we really appreciate what this is doing, just because since this is going to be a platform where creators come in and make stuff, we can't. We have to come up with some way where there isn't regulatory implications with any of our creators doing this. And so if we just work with this smart contract and start leveraging it for our creators to come in and make their own tokens, this seems to be the best method to use. So I think they're going to be launching this like within the next couple of days with a project. So we're keeping an eye on that. And so we'll report back to see if there's like any holes in the smart contract or anything like that. So we thought that was pretty interesting. It is kind of like an in-depth read, but it is interesting if you guys are care to know about all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I think that's why we tune in, right? Because we're here to know about all that stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, crypto right now, it's actually a little weird. We expected to have like this huge run up between November, December, and really nothing happened. I mean, Bitcoin's been like this huge stable coin for the last couple of months, and so it's projected to stay sort of like a stable coin for a few more months until I believe it's going to rally. Others are not so bullish.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, TA Master as well as Pope Master over here.
Pope Master, yeah.
yeah. I know. Will, your TA is on point. Your TA is actually on point. That's crazy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But I had a couple of things about that actually. So in case anyone missed that call that we had last week, we actually went over something very, very interesting. So you know how we were talking about creating that infinite economy?
Yes.
Right. So I was saying that not only, in my opinion, does that get rid of all regulations, but it's also a very like a foolproof mechanism for new creators to create their own games as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think I think when it comes to like the tokenomics of games, I think creators have to design games that are infinite, like we were talking about last week. And I don't know. I feel like there's a genre that could spawn as a result. But we have elements of that. We have like death matches. We have basically upgradable like assets, like weapons and swords, things like that. Like a role playing game. Role playing games are essentially infinite. I mean, you could cap it at level 100, but why not cap it at level 10,000? Like, why not? So those are theoretically infinite. So I think we have a lot of like types of genres that we can tap into as like a crypto space in gaming that I don't think we've seen all of it yet.
That's not what I mean. But yeah, that's true. That is true. But what I was basically saying was, you know how we're discussing a generation of the tokens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying, creating that infinite economy by, taking that ETH and staking it,
Mm-hmm.
and using that
Oh,
staking rewards to
yeah.
create a liquidity pool for these gear tokens,
Sure, sure.
right? And basically, gear can remain not trading for a very long time, because I don't think Rovi like holders. I'll speak for myself,
Sure.
right? Me, I don't care about trading my gear anytime soon. I just want to earn it,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
right? I wanna see my Rovi grinding it out,
Yeah.
for some gears.
No,
That's
absolutely.
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Have you heard of the project? What's it called? It's well they coined the idea of a no loss lottery. Man, I forget what the project's called. But anyway, what you do in this lottery is you deposit, $100 worth of stable coin. And what happens is it generates you basically 100 tickets. And so if you win the lottery, you basically win the pool's compounding interest. So instead of taking $100 and staking it into compound and earn interest on $100, you can earn interest on the collective pool's money. So the collective pool is essentially, there it is, pool together. That's what it's called. And so what you would do is you pool your money, right? It ends up being like $1 million or so, and and that money goes into a compound smart contract. That $1 million starts earning interest, right? And since you're a part of that pool, you could win as a lottery all of that interest that's been amassed for like 2 weeks or whatever the pool length is.
But what if you lose?
Well, then you only lose the 100. So the $100 is always yours. So
Yeah.
the $100 you could take back. So you never
Oh, yeah?
lose.
You
Yeah,
can
you
take
never
it back?
lose $100. What you end up losing is the opportunity cost of
Oh,
staking the $100 into your own compound account. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
I love curve and convex. They're like
Yeah.
my go-to places for sure. So I had a so yeah. What do you think? What do you think? Will we can apply that, no, to
Sure.
in our scenario. We can basically generate like liquidity for gear tokens from the money we already have and the money yet to
Sure.
be provided into the whole ecosystem, right? Because everything's gonna eventually trickle back down into the liquidity pool of the gear token,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to basically reward the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that's where the closed loop begins at, right? The liquidity pool.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one method. I wonder, we're still setting the price at that point, and that's what we're trying to avoid. I think with this like scheme, with this LBA and lock drop scheme from Delphi Digital, if you set the price of any token, there's some like regulatory implications. Now, that doesn't mean that the SEC is going to crack down on us unless we're like competing with Axie, which then there's a chance, right? So it's more about designing a path for every single creator to take that doesn't have this potential implication. So, but yeah, I like the idea of having of using like value and staking that value in like some yield contract, and then using that yield to fund whatever activity it is, because
Yeah,
that fund is never going to go away, right?
exactly.
So it's definitely a great idea. And so Brohan is telling me that now that they have the pool token, that you earn pool as you stake your money to win this lottery. So which is great. And what's interesting is that this pool together existed without the pool token, and so it worked fine. But now you get the extra bonus of getting the actual pool token by staking your stable coin. Same thing
Oh
with
yeah.
same thing with like Rovies is like once you start earning the Rovi token, it's that has its own value, very much like Axie, right? So like the volatility has potential here in terms of like positive gains, right? And like much higher than if you were earning ETH, which has pretty good gains, but not to the potential of like super volatile tokens. That's the volatile tokens is how you become millionaires, right? It's very hard to become millionaire with like Bitcoin and ETH at these prices. So, but
As long as you have patience, you're and you're in the space, you're bound to be a millionaire
oh
sooner
yeah,
or later, in
for
my
sure.
opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you hold Bitcoin all the way for the next 20, 30 years, I'm pretty sure you're going to be holding $1
Yeah.
million at least at some point.
Even if you hold stable coins and you put them into like a really good a place where you get yield from,
Sure,
sooner or later you'll still be a millionaire.
that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe in like 1,000 years, but you'll still be millionaire one day.
No, I think if you're measuring in 1,000 years, I think in 1,000 years you'll probably be a millionaire if you put that money into like a regular bank account. But it'll take a few years, a few decades if you stake that into like a crypto like compound, because the interest
Yeah,
are significantly
exactly.
higher.
Yeah,
So
you can put it in a compound one. I'm just saying,
yeah,
some guy starts out with like $500. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to make 1 million.
yeah.
You could do it, man. Just set your mind to it. You got it.
Yeah, and that's what I like about crypto is like it's the yield is significantly higher than anything else you would find. But yeah, let's get to the Pope. So let me post here. I got the password, and the password is so direct message the MetaZone bot. The password is deploy. So yeah, DM the MetaZone bot, the password deploy, and then go through the verification process, and you should get this Pope. All right. So hopefully the timing of this call is 1 hour earlier than we normally have it, and maybe this makes sense for more for people. But I guess we'll find out. Is this time okay for everyone, or do we need to go back to an hour later? Let's see, what time is it?
It's fine with me. I don't care.
All right, cool. Okay, so Dirty Bird is saying works for me. Okay, Volk Pixie works for me. Patrick is late. Okay, yeah, looks like it's working out. All right. Let's see. Greencifer, did you have any comments or thoughts so far on like these updates that we have? Pretty soon, once we make these deployments, I think the hard part is updating the platform to get these NFTs recognized and then deployable. And once that hard part is done, then it's just pure like development and design.
Pure FOMO. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Yeah,
So
it's okay. We're trust me. I'm like, I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I think the community is holding strong. Yeah, they get bored. I think they get bored. Will like for example, what's going on with that story contest we were having?
yes,
Are we near the deadline yet?
yeah. So I left this event open ended for about a month, only
Mm-hmm.
because I knew that it's going to take some time for people to generate like a story for the Rovi. So I left it open for a month. What we can do is we can start distributing popes for those who've done so.
We
I
should
guess,
probably look at the stories too. I wonder if anybody else posted, right?
yeah. Let me see. Let me find that link again. Do you remember the link?
I think it's in the Discord, actually, in the announcements. because of the event.
Yeah, let me. Oh yeah, you're right. Here it is. All right, let's take a look at. There was one that I read that was very, very in depth. Oh wow, that's a lot of people. Okay.
I guess people have been active, Will.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so let me see. Let's pick a random one here. Let's pick this guy. All right, so I'm gonna read this. All right, it says my battery core stuff. Water damage during the catastrophe. I don't know how much longer I might get to live. The SAR. Uh, the SAR. Long ago came
That's fine.
to. Is that yours?
Yeah, that is.
Oh, really? Long ago came
I
to
have a
our.
bunch on there.
Long ago came to our land when it was barren. He found scrapped bots like myself and offered us a deal to rebuild a new world in exchange for all the energy we all could fathom. Under his influence, we have built an empire. The catastrophe must have affected him greatly. I am sure, just like the rest of us, but he never seems to talk about it. I always wondered what his motivation to rebuild our land when he knew we never had anything to offer in the first place. This is just one of the reasons why each and every one of our warriors will lay their life on the life for the SAR.
Long
Dang.
live.
Dang. So this is okay. So yeah, this is used. Man, how did I randomly select yours, dude?
Because I have a lot of Rovies and I have a lot of stories. And also because a lot of other people did send me their stories.
Yeah.
Like Neb has a lot of her Rovies on there, you know?
Yeah.
So look out for the Zarina. You know, the army of the Zarina, that's all her.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. She's a story writer. You have no idea. She's like building a bookstore in Decentraland.
Oh damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, Neb's on
Oh
fire.
yeah. Not every boomer. That's her. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's funny that you mentioned that this one has a particularly low battery, and the story was kind of based on the battery here.
Yeah, I was having fun.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay.
You know, it's like yeah, you know, because I know other people like read stories and stuff, and you know, they kind of want something to go off of, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So hold on, let me click on one, and we don't have an ETH address here. So
That's mine too.
damn,
You could go click on someone that's not mine. Like for example, go click on Nebs.
Okay, which one's that one?
So you gotta find something that has something related to the Zarina. So Neb and me collaborated. We're going to do stories together. So you know we're forming alliances.
Oh, okay. So how? Okay, here it is. Here's one. Let's click on this one.
Oh, you found the Zarina herself. Damn.
Okay, we don't. Okay. So, but how do I get somebody's ETH address so I can send them their Pope here?
So we still have to because this is just on Obsidian, right? We have no way of finding whose ETH address it is, except for the fact that we know which Rovi it is. Okay, so we know exactly who to send these popes to based on the Rovi's number, because that's its name, right? So only these Rovi's will get the pope, right? And whichever ETH address is holding them, that's the ETH address that gets the pope.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we could do that. All right, so that means I can look up this codex and I can find the ETH address and then issue. So yeah, but there's
we'll find Arctic fogs.
But there's no proof that whoever wrote this, for example, there's no proof that this person actually owns this codex. Which, I mean, ultimately it should be fine, I guess.
And I know where you're heading at, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Remember we were talking about this, uploading it to MetaZone, and you know, being able to implicate like a smart contract that allows you to like sign it or whatever.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good idea. So that means how do we get this into? Because I'm thinking about, let's say you wrote 00255, and we say, okay, now we're going to start implementing this into MetaZone. How do we have this person sign a transaction on MetaZone to make sure that they actually wrote this? Now, we could just say, all right, this person wrote this for this codex. We issue that whoever's holding this Rovi a Pope, and let's say you wrote this, but this isn't yours. Then that person who owns this can just end up changing it later on.
Yeah,
they ended up getting a Pope anyway, so. Like if somebody's doing work for somebody else,
I don't think anyone's gonna put up a Rovi that they don't own, right? Like, why are you gonna go through the troubles of?
Someone did. Remember?
Yeah. I did see that, and they did get taken down because they misunderstood the assignment.
Sure.
Right? They were hoping to get the POAP because they made a story.
Sure.
Right? But like that's why I think, in my opinion, I think the fact that it's the person holding the actual Rovi that gets the POAP. It solves the whole issue.
Yeah.
Because it just demotivates anyone that's
true.
That's not part of the community. That's basically just trying to reap their rewards.
Yeah, and I mean, if for those who want to continue writing stories, I mean, they can. Just the person who is whoever owns that Rovi is just going to get a Pope, right? And so just a random Pope is going to show up on their account, which is fine. And if that person comes in and sees like, hey, this is not my story, they can just rewrite it.
Yeah, and if anything, that person's going to be very thankful that even though they were lacking, somebody was out there that was on the ball, looking out for them.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's going to be a writer, right? And so they might prefer someone else to chime in with a story.
Yeah. And that's why the Pope that I think our first community project should be pretty special.
Hell yeah.
Right? Because it's the first time the community is kind of bridging across the barriers of UI and the metaverse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if we're gonna have the community host this game, I mean, they should come up with like as much stuff as they can. And speaking of a call to 3D modelers, we need a 3D modeler to make a wearable for all the testers that we have. There's basically around 50 testers that have signed up, and so pretty soon we're gonna be having them like actually test some stuff like in the next couple of days. And to compensate you guys, we want to send you a specific wearable.
Yes.
So we need some suggestions on who we should contract to build this wearable. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know in a DM or just post it out here. We're happy to work with anybody who can design something really cool for you guys.
Oh man, you should really go check out the legend Hirodokai.
Hirodokai, yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Hirodokai is awesome, man. You should definitely he's awesome. I like him as a person. He's really cool, and I think he's doing lots for the community. He has like tutorials. Like, not only are his wearables fire,
sure,
right, but on top of that, he's doing lots for the community. And I think Hirodokai is also aimed towards the same like path that kind of Rovi's is trying to like relay as well, right? Like the community actually stepping up, starting creating, right? So I think it would be interesting to see a collaboration like that.
Oh yeah. Can you find his Twitter account and like send it via DMs? That way I can contact him.
I will do that for you.
Yes, appreciate that. Yeah, because ultimately I think what we want to do is essentially 2 wearables, right? One for the contributors as for testers, and another one for every Rovi holder. So we'll airdrop a wearable for everyone holding a Rovi, and then that's at least something cool for you guys to kind of show off in Decentraland at the least. So that's kind of what we're thinking. Let's see.
That's pretty legit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was gonna say that's interesting. We're doing like the testers guild is about to get active pretty soon, right? Mm-hmm. And it's snowing in Decentraland.
Is it really?
I think so. I think it was. I seen it on YouTube. It's not right now, but I don't know. I think it snows sometimes in Decentraland.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be
man.
pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I
Decentraland.
wanted to ask you something. This was actually like I didn't have too much time to think of questions, but I did have a bunch of questions still, right? Because I always do. So I wanted to ask you, what are the advantages of having a metaverse built like Decentraland versus a metaverse built like Sandbox, right? Because I'm assuming both have advantages, right?
Yeah,
Because the only reason I ask is because I also notice other games that are developing in the play to earn environment
hmm
that are choosing the sandbox method of having a closed environment
sure.
versus like Decentraland's open, right? And I noticed Rovi's was like one of the few. I'm not very familiar with too many projects, but
Sure.
I haven't seen another one, so that's why I say one of the few. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of get your insights on
Sure.
that, because why you chose specifically that, right?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question, and so it's relatively simple. So basically, in Sandbox, it's remember how we talked about how it's like sort of like a closed loop economy, and like in a way where they don't necessarily enable developers to come in and make stuff. Instead, what they have is this builder tool that allows people, anyone who learns how to use the builder, their tool, to come in and make content, right? And their builder is far more robust than the one Decentraland has. With their builder, you can make games, right? You can actually like make like scripts and make games within the confines of a sandbox. So the difference between that and Decentraland is Decentraland has an SDK where developers can literally make anything that they want, like anything from a DeFi protocol that looks like a crop field, a yield farm in Decentraland, to a game like Rovi's. Like they can make anything. You can't have a DeFi project run in Sandbox unless Sandbox, decides to work with some DeFi project and they start working, their magic because they control the platform. So
Yeah,
that's
okay.
really the
Yeah, that's
difference.
yeah, that's awesome. That's a beautiful answer, man. So yeah, so basically there is no room for like actual growth that we seek from blockchain because it's not even open source like to like in comparison, like how stuff on blockchain is open source and you can build on it, right? So
Yes.
someone building on like a closed ecosystem like Sandbox and like a person interacting with them,
Yeah.
they can't build on it. They have no idea what's going on, right? Versus in Decentraland or in the Rovi matrix, right? We kind of know what's going on because we're kind of doing it
hmm
ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's always like
Yeah,
mirrors.
see, it's snowing.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. There's always mirrors to everything that's created, right? You can't really build anything in a vacuum because if you're not exposed to stuff, you're just not going to be able to be creative enough to come up with something unique. So you have to kind of be exposed. So there's projects that are very similar to Sandbox, and one of them is Roblox. So Roblox is a $44 billion project, right? And they've been around for a good minute. And the one notable thing about Roblox is they have 1 million developers. And when you have 1 million developers, Roblox, the team, all they have to do is like continue making like their platform easily accessible and usable by developers, and they'll have like this runaway success, which that's what they are, and so that is a model that I think is the difference between Roblox and Sandbox. Is that Sandbox is building a tool for anyone to use. You're going to have tons more types of content in there just because people will have the time to learn that builder. They don't have to learn how to code to make stuff. And so you're going to see a lot of stuff in Sandbox. But what you won't see in Sandbox are things like, DeFi and very, very unique stuff, right? You can see unique things. Like you could do like all kinds of things in Decentraland. Like there's no limit to what you can do. Other than like the fact that if you have one parcel, then you're limited to like 20,000 polygons and like 10 materials, things like that. But other than that, I mean, you could pretty much do anything. So it's just the differences of like philosophies and the differences of like market. Like maybe their market is just focused on regular people making cool stuff with this builder, versus Decentraland is like their focus is on decentralization and developers to make cool stuff, which the barrier to entry is significantly higher. I mean, you have to learn how to code to make it cool stuff in Decentraland. Because if you don't know how to code and you're using the builder, well, you're going to get stuff like this. This is what you get with the builder. Things like this here. Like you can't really do much. Not to trash anybody, but this isn't interactive, right? You can't do much here. So that's the difference.
It's like Unity and Unreal, right? One has everything inside of it, but the other one provides you a lot more freedom if you just as long as you buy the plugins.
Yeah, exactly right. Speaking of
the metas are the plugins, guys.
Man, dude, I don't know if you guys have seen the Unreal Engine Flex with Matrix. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so I'm gonna here's a homework. You guys need to watch this video.
Oh, I love homework. You got to give more homework, Will. You know, I think community engagement is huge. And I think homework is something that was indoctrinated from school.
That's true.
And like, you know, it's for a reason, because it creates engagement, and engagement towards a certain activity will ingrain it in your memory.
Yes. So,
right?
Well, I mean, this is pretty easy homework, but you guys need to watch this. So what's happening here is Unreal Engine is using the IP of the Matrix to make a showcase of their platform. And that showcase, I mean, it looks pretty legit, like what this looks like. I'm going to kind of scrub through here and kind of show you an example of gameplay. And in this gameplay, I mean, this is Unreal Engine 5 and kind of running the kind of a Matrix theme. And so once you watch this video, like you'll see this character run around in this big old city, like cars crashing, everything, right? And my whole point here is that this is like what I think my best like vision of the metaverse is going to look like this. Like this is where I would spend more time if metaverses look like this. And so if you can merge what you have with Unreal Engine 5 here with developers, you're going to have the craziness of Decentraland with the fidelity of Unreal Engine 5. And that's like, I think that's like one of the more important like things that you can kind of expand your mind on. Like what's possible with something like this versus, you know, something like, you know, Sandbox where it's kind of limited. And so I like the empty canvas of a metaverse more than like a structured metaverse. So something to think about.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people think about that, man. I think a lot of people think about that. That's why I asked you. Right? I'm like, that. I guess that's why you chose it, because you wanted the community to have the freedom.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Lorian, he's got it right. So this is going to be open source. So yeah, making this open source, I mean, dude, anything is going to be literally possible. So, and like here's like what their nanite engine does. It basically gives you an idea what the engine is doing to make such high resolution be executable on like generic computers. But yeah, I mean, if you view this like demo, it's pretty interesting to see what's possible now. All right, so we got 10 minutes left. Let's give away this NFT. And then for the next few minutes, you guys can interact with this thing, and then we can get this NFT given out. So give me a minute here, and we're gonna get this issued. So what's your opinion on the market right now, dude?
Oh yeah, you wanna talk about the market? I want to talk about Rovi's, but it's okay. We can talk about the market.
No, let's do that. I mean, if you have other questions.
Oh, I do. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I was just waiting. I was just trying to be nice, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But so yeah, I'm. What do you think? You know, we're kind of coming close to that end of the event for this story, right? So I was saying that maybe we should already start planning the next event, right? I kind
Sure.
of had a few ideas. I was saying to incentivize community interaction.
Sure.
We could basically have the next event be collaborating with for example, your Rovi has to like share an experience that you had with another Rovi. Just make it up. It can be vague, just make up your own story. But
Mm.
that way, at least other Rovis will get to know each other. They'll be like, oh, hey, my Rovi's right there. This guy wrote about me, right? And when you
Sure.
guys meet in the Matrix, or even as the lore continues, right? People that are kind of coming back, these are all the Genesis Rovies that are
Mm.
kind of forming, right?
Mm.
So I don't know, not like people even care about it. I'm sure lunatics like myself probably care about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it'd be fun, right? I like reading back to lore that is written in the blockchain.
Mm. So I guess what's the question here? Like having lore on the blockchain, like
No, 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 no. My question's like what's the can we do something like like a holiday event or something like that?
oh, no, we don't have any problem with doing that. I think what we're wanting to do is have like gameplay out there so that we can have some sort of like context to the event, so we can have some people doing some activity. But what sort of event were you thinking?
So that's basically what I was saying, because I'm assuming, right, a lot of people are sitting twiddling their thumbs, right? But people that do want to get active, right? And as people are going to start noticing that these events are actually incentivized, right? It's not just a hoax,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're gonna start engaging much more, right? So getting or like building a habit of just engaging like engagement with your Rovi.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll you create a bond, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but what event though? Like what?
What event? And so okay. I think I know what you're saying. So basically, I'm saying we are, I think, at a point in a stage in time where we gotta kind of figure out like an underlying story. It could be
Mm,
something super super
I
vague,
gotcha.
but just like a skeletal system for the
Sure.
other stories to be spawned off of, right?
I hear
So
you.
yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah, I totally hear you. So basically, sort of an overall backstory for the existence of Rovies.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I think we took the tiniest stab at that in the website. So I don't know if you were around Greencifer, but there was this pretty cool event that happened in Decentraland where where there was a rocket that took off in Decentraland during the SpaceX event.
No, I wasn't there. Remember, I'm a noob, but yeah, I've been on the website enough to have seen that
Yeah,
SpaceX
yeah.
launch a couple times.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to mention here is like this event really, I don't know, it did something weird. It was like, whenever you go to a concert and you listen to the music and like the feeling of being there has like a different, I don't know, like a different
Vibe.
feeling, different
Yeah,
vibe when you're there versus just listening to the song like in your car. It's like a
yeah, you
different
get
vibe.
goosebumps, man.
Yeah, so I was watching it. I was in Decentraland and watching it like on my TV. This live event, and the feeling of watching a rocket launch in Decentraland while there's a rocket launching in Decentraland was that weird vibe, and so that's sort of like, so we kind of leverage
You were
that.
looking at that rocket like Elon looks at his, right?
Yeah, it was a little weird, right? It's something I didn't expect.
Oh, come on, man. It's like dreams coming to fruition, man.
Yeah, yeah,
What do
yeah.
you
No, for
mean?
sure. Yeah, especially Elon like with his accomplishments, but ultimately like we sort of leverage that as a narrative, and like that's sort of the tiniest stab at like a narrative for Rovi's being here. So yeah, I think we might like change this up in terms of like the long term story, but at least we can start here and maybe like adding
Okay.
to it.
So what's the generic story we're kind of staring at?
Well, just the fact that the spaceship was discovered by these Rovies, and they decided to return that spaceship from its original origin course, and then like tag along, and so that's why Rovies are here.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So basically, oh, that's cool. What do you mean? Okay, so yeah, you basically already set the stage, right? This is the skeletal system then, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sure, you can add to it, but you don't need to. So basically, what I'm saying then is for this holiday event, basically the team or you or anyone in the community could basically pitch an idea for this event, this holiday event, and it would be added to the fundamental skeletal system, right? So it has to be pretty vague, just like this, right? And basically people can interact with that event based off of that story, right? And what the event is kind of directing them in.
Yeah, I mean, we do have like once this game launches, like once we have all the components out, we do want to set like this huge event and have like these big animations and everything for like Rovies actually landing and like kind of signaling the start of the game. And so, but that's, I mean, to get all the components out there is still going to take a little minute, but once everything's out there, we do plan to set up like this huge event that will have like this rocket landing and like Rovies stepping out and all that stuff. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah. So okay. I'll pitch an idea.
Sure.
In that case. So according to the skeletal story, the Rovies found a spaceship and they set it to its origin. Right? They're going to basically where the spaceship was intended for.
Yep.
Right. So what are the Rovies doing in the meantime? Okay, it's New Year's. It's almost Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
Like who knows? Maybe the Rovies don't celebrate Christmas, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's something.
You know,
So, is this like a written like story, or is this more of like something that you kind of interact with? Like, what's
so
your...
it's a very very generic thing. So it's basically it's an announcement. Okay, so imagine like the general is coming for an announcement. It's like, hey, we're going off. We're just stopping by and just exploring here, and just log your reports. Pick a Rovi teammate and teams of two. Go whatever, right, and return and report what you found.
Oh,
right?
I see. So, is this something that would happen like within Decentraland, or
No, I'm saying like that's actually interesting.
Yeah, because
that's
I don't
actually
know
very
why.
interesting.
I don't know why. Every time I say event, I don't know. I just assume it's something like in Decentraland, but
It could very well be. I wasn't even thinking like that. I was just basically saying people just could go off their imagination, right? But yeah, what do you mean? We're in the metaverse. We could actually apply this.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's sort of why the metaverse is going to be that big deal, because we go back to that story from the space or the rocket launch, right? There's like we want to have more of these experiences where people have that weird vibe in the metaverse, because that creates that stickiness. But speaking of stickiness, Lola has won the NFT.
Hey.
All right. Congratulations. And looks like, I'm going to assume it's a she, that she provided the ether dress already. Pretty cool. All right, congrats. All right, so we got the NFT. We got a winner. We got about 2 more minutes before the call. Let's see. So hold on. We just reading through the comments here. Figure out the next time. It says you can take your time to get it all in place until the next call and just DM. Yeah, so a couple of things. In order to get the Pope, you have to jump into Decentraland, into this spot here, and get a crowbar. And once you get a crowbar, then it'll verify. So I think the bot, the MetaZone bot for the Pope, will continue working for the next hour or so. And so for those of you who want to get the Pope, just jump into this Corona Zombies. It'll ask you for your email. Once you get an account with MetaZone, it'll issue you that crowbar NFT, and then once you have that NFT as an asset, then you can claim a Pope for this call. So it seems to work for the most part, but yeah. So Juxon hasn't received a crowbar yet. And Corv is saying new loot that will be dropped in PvE.
No way. What kind of loot?
I don't know if he's... ooh. So this loot is for Corona Zombies, though. That looks badass. Check the Discord, that image. Let me see if I can show it up here. Okay. Yeah, here's that image that Oscar was showing. There's the new loot for Corona Zombies. You got a med pin, med kit, and med pack. Interesting. Looks badass. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, I think that covers it for today. What's next week? So next week is... what's next Thursday? Next Thursday is the 23rd. All right. So I think if everyone's okay, I know it's like the holidays. Should we do another call next week, the 23rd, or should we? Is everyone going to be too busy for that day?
No, we should do a call. I like seeing your face every week. Well,
you do.
It gives me you know, that hope that, you know, that there's something cooking. Even if I don't know something's cooking in the oven,
yeah,
you know, at least I know. I'd be like, okay, you know, someone's definitely putting in the grind, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. Yeah, we could do that next week. The 23rd should work for me.
Works for me.
It looks like, who was it here? Well, Pixie is saying to skip next week.
Oh yeah. maybe we can make it earlier, perhaps not a Thursday, so it's not too borderline for people.
Well,
right?
Thursday, maybe. I think it's better to stay a little bit more consistent on the day.
Okay, we could do that.
So yeah, let's just do 23rd is not too bad. So yeah, let's do another call next week, and we'll have some more updates then. I of course appreciate you, Greencifer, for showing up and backing me up here. Having a dialogue is always better than a monologue, so I appreciate you. Appreciate the community.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
And I look forward to those Pope tutorials, huh?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, man. So this Pope took a good minute to create.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I had to use so many tools to make this. Like it's really not like, and the tools are all paid, so it's not like probably the best way to create this if I create a tutorial for you guys, because it's just takes too long. So I'm trying to figure out ways to like streamline it so then I can record a video and then we can have you guys create some popes.
Similar?
Yeah, very similar, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, anything, man. Anything. Cause I tried to doing some research on creating popes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of found it. But yeah, no, that's quality, man.
Yeah.
That's some other quality. I don't even know how you're layering so many things.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what it is? I think it's like, I don't know. You have like an incentive to do it, and then you just go and like Google your way through it. That's basically what I did. But yeah,
the grind.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
You're showing me the barriers, huh?
Yeah, man. Next, I'm gonna become an expert on the Unreal Engine 5. I don't know why I like it. I just do. It's weird. I mean,
why you develop in Unreal?
No, I'm going to figure it out. I'm gonna go and learn like how to develop on that platform.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very interesting topic, and something we could definitely see for next week as well. Like we should be in the metaverse learning, right? A lot of people are here trying to make a quick buck when they don't realize that there's a huge diamond mine right underneath everything. And your time that you're wasting trying 100%. To shield projects or look for the next microcap gem, it's you yourself. Invest in yourself and learn something crazy.
You know what? Let's put a context to that. So what you're saying is 100% right. And by the way, Zuckerberg changed their name Meta in October, right? At the end of October. So we're about a month or so into this. This is the first time people are recognizing the metaverse is actually going to be a thing. So many people are talking about it now that have no... It's like... back in the early 90s where people were like, what is the internet, right? People are like, what is the metaverse right now? And so if you're listening to this, we all know like what this means. But the point here is that we're all extremely early, and the best thing you could do is be a creator in the space. If you're a creator, you can make a ton of money just because the tools, the skills necessary to make stuff in the metaverse is not something that, it's not like, doing a blog, right? You need like skills to do it. So yeah, just learn up, try to figure out how to get into Blender, how to get into Unreal Engine, things like that. Like these are going to be like the tools of the future. So yeah, no, that's a good point, Greencifer. All right, on that note, let's call it here, and we will see you back in exactly a week. And if you guys have any questions, of course, we're always in Discord. Let us know what your thoughts are on everything, and yeah, we'll see you next week. I appreciate you guys.
See ya.
All right, bye bye.